It's fair to say there aren't that many pure electric estate cars on sale in the UK. At one end of the spectrum, you've got the MG5, and at the other, there's the Porsche Taycan. And let's face it, that's not really a pure electric estate car, is it? But that's about to change because there's a flurry of new models on their way. Starting with this, the Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer Electric. You don't need to have the IQ of Albert Einstein to work out this is the estate version of the Astra hatchback. And just like with most load-lugging versions of existing cars, the estate, or sports tourer in Vauxhall speak, is identical at the front to the hatch, but it's at the back end where the styling changes. The design hasn't been altered that much though, which is a really good thing as the current generation Astra is easily the best looking in decades. Its super sharp design looks premium and it turns heads. Better looking than a Golf? I should Coco. The strong design carries over onto the inside too. It's a bit gloomy and grey if I'm being really honest, but the quality is there and the shortcut buttons for the infotainment system are very welcome. More legroom in the back would be a good thing, but you can't have everything, I suppose. The great thing about the Astra Sports Tourer is that the platform was designed to take electric power from the outset. So it means that this pure electric version, you get the same boot volume that you get on the plug-in hybrid version, which is 516 litres with the seats up and 1,553 litres with the seats down. It's very easy to drop those seats as well, little handles on the side of the boot. And the boot itself, over a metre wide, and on the estate you get a lower rear bumper, so loading those items is much easier. The only thing you've got to bear in mind though is you need to carry your charging cables with you. And Vauxhall gives you this lovely bag. It's pretty cumbersome and pretty heavy though, so you have to bear that in mind. So apart from that, it's a very big boot indeed. Under the svelte body, you'll find a 54 kilowatt-hour battery pack mated to a front-mounted 154 brake horsepower electric motor. Vauxhall is making a big thing of the fact that the battery is fully integrated into the car's platform, meaning there's a lower driving position and the car is stiffer. So, what does that battery give you range-wise? Well, 256 miles, which isn't a lot. It's 7 more than the MG5, and it's a lot fewer than the 300-odd mile range of similarly priced electric SUVs, like the Skoda Enyaq, for example. Vauxhall believes 256 miles is a good compromise for everyday usability and efficiency though. And with a claimed efficiency figure of 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour, Vauxhall could well be right. Now the first thing to mention is, well, you're probably wondering why I'm driving on this side of the car and the car has got German number plates. Well, it's actually an Opel. I mean, yes, there's even an Opel badge on the key, and yet there is a Vauxhall badge on the steering wheel and Vauxhall badges on the car. Well, all Vauxhall have done, they've put their own ones on. But this is representative of the Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer Electric that you can go out and buy right now. So what do I think to it then? Well, firstly, I really like the interior. I like the fact that you get a properly sized steering wheel, and that's important because if you peel away the Vauxhall body, this is essentially a Peugeot E308 SW. And yet, while Peugeot insists you've got to have a minuscule little steering wheel and you've got to peer over it to look at the dials ahead of you, Vauxhall have gone, which you'd expect from Vauxhall, wouldn't you, a far more conservative arrangement. And it's nice and thin rimmed, it feels really good in your hand, plenty of adjustment. These seats are worth mentioning as well. They're AGR, it's some German back society, and they are very comfortable. The seats in the back aren't quite so comfortable. The ones in the front are very supportive, no aches and pains whatsoever. And you look out on this dashboard, that's really quite nice actually. You get this one-piece glass affair in front of you. Some Astras you don't, they're two separate screens, but here you get one piece of glass in front of you. You get some physical controls for the buttons, the plastics all feel good. It's a nice place to be. It's quite a nice car to drive as well. One thing I would say, it does seem to be very quiet, and Vauxhall fit insulating glass on all of these Astra Electric, and it is pretty hushed in here. The one thing you do pick up on though is a bit of tyre roar, and this car's got some pretty large wheels on, and I do feel as though the ride suffers a little bit. It does feel a little bit kind of bouncy at times, but compared to perhaps an electric SUV, which a lot of people will be considering if they're considering this car, you get less of that head wobble. You know, you feel as though your neck muscles are getting a bit of a workout. This is a lot smoother, a lot more, well, normal, I suppose you could say. Performance-wise, well, there's nothing too much to write home about. 156 odd horsepower, something like that. 0 to 62 in just over 9 seconds. I'm in normal mode right now, doing 50 miles an hour. Foot to the floor, and we gently get to 60. There's no dramatics, no histrionics here whatsoever. It's just kind of measured and sedate, and again, normal feeling, I suppose you could say. Right then, verdict time. Should you go rushing out and buy one? Well, there's no denying it's a stylish, pleasant car to drive, and it should deliver more than 200 miles of range in normal driving, and it's spacious enough inside. There is a but though. With prices starting from over £39,000, I could see many buyers overlooking the Astra in favour of a more fashionable electric SUV such as the Skoda Enyaq, despite the fact that the Astra is arguably just as roomy inside and more fun to drive. This Astra I'm driving costs over 45 grand, and while it does feel a whole lot more premium and well-rounded than the MG5, the MG is some £9,000 cheaper. That's a whole heap of money saved, and I can understand why people would rather bank the cash than splash out on the Vauxhall.